So we're on to our last bit of mapping and texturing. That's going to be for the claws. So once again, um, we're going to make sure that we're hiding all of the pieces that we're not going to be UV mapping. Just it's a little bit easier for us to kind of run that initial thing. Yeah, so selecting everything, do my Control H. Um, Claw is primarily a couple shapes. Yeah, so I'm gonna be bringing this up in my um, I'm gonna be bringing this up here in my UV editor. I am also gonna right click, assign existing material, and put that UV mapping material on there. Okay, so it's strangely enough, yeah, this one looks a little bit more coherent than most of our maps up until this point. I'm going to do a few things just to kind of clean this one up, and then we're going to make our material, of course, in or our design at least in Photoshop or any other kind of graphic editing design program of your choice. I'm going to right click on this, go to UV mode, and bring out my map from the main square. So let me drag this out to over here. Now I'm gonna like to scale this down very slightly, so you can kind of see it a little bit better. Once again, we started off with the cylinder. There's some distinct sections in here, so we can get that cleared up really quick. Probably the most important section is going to be the cloud itself. We're gonna do some yeah, we're gonna do some really low hanging fruit at first. So if we're in here, I'm actually gonna do some cuts right by the arm. Yeah, so sorry, by the wrist. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of double click on this edge right over here. Yeah, so that's the edge. A little bit hard to see, but remember if we press 5, I can kind of show that to you a little bit better. Yeah, but basically where the arm, where the wrist meets um, the claw, yeah, I think that's probably a really good spot. Yeah, and then I'm gonna go in there and do a cut UV editor, go cut so, and then just cut that area. Yeah, so that'll separate out that portion. I'm probably also gonna do the same thing with this top. Yeah, so I'm gonna double click on that edge, get all of that, and once again do another cut up there. Yeah, so that's my main parts that I'm working on for the wrist. Okay, as usual, I'm gonna separate these out. Yeah, so I'm gonna take out two parts. Yeah, I'm gonna take out the top cap. So I'm just gonna select this point, UV point right here. So right click, go UV, right, and then select the UV. I'm then gonna go to my selection menu, select convert selection, choose UV shell. Okay, and then bring this out. Yeah, so this is gonna look very much uh, like near the shape. Yeah, but we're definitely gonna have to map that. I'm also gonna select one of the UVs on the wrist cylinder area. I'll go to my select menu, convert selection, UV to UV shell again. Bring this one out. This one is gonna need a lot of work. Yeah, so there's our two parts. Just to kind of separate those out. Okay, I am also gonna bring back my texture, so I'm gonna press 6, yeah, so I can see my design. Two things that I'm gonna do. First thing is I'm gonna clean up the cap. The cap actually looks pretty good, but there is some distortion going on. So I'm gonna just select the cap in my UV editor, convert it. Yeah, so I'm gonna go into my select, convert selection to faces. Yeah, and then I'm making sure I'm looking at the top in the perspective view, and then we're gonna just go to UV. I'm just gonna do a straight up planar map. Yeah, and that'll give me that nice little circle over here. Okay, this doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, this is one of those things where we're doing this more out of habit to make sure that we have a really nice UV map layout, not so much because we're worried about this being exposed. Yeah, but again, really good habit to have. Yeah, just thinking about those sorts of things. Okay, so there's my cap. Okay, I'm gonna work on the cylinder next. Yeah, so again, UVs, select all the UVs for the cylinder. Go to select convert selection to faces. Okay, we're then going to do our UV and do a cylindrical map on that one. And of course, close it up towards the back. One thing that will be pretty obvious, especially when we look at it in the side view, is that it's not going to be at the same angle. So we are going to be going to the T. Yeah, so go find the red T in the back. Okay, we're going to use that to rotate it. So we're going to be rotating this so that it matches with the angle a little bit more. So maybe something like this. Okay, I'm going to check my front view. Let me close my outliner. I'm going to check my front view as well. Okay, and then once again, we're looking at that pattern, trying to make sure that it is, again, kind of having the same angle. Okay, and then our last set is going to be making sure that making sure that the seam is on the inside. So I'm gonna click on the T once again. Okay, we're looking to put it somewhere around here. Yeah, so to do that, once again, I'm gonna click on this middle area, turn it. Yeah, and then we're just gonna turn it so that the seam is right about here. Yeah, so that should be the seam. We should see the seam kind of going down there. Okay, I'm then gonna get my UV, select it in the main material area, drag this out. Okay, and then there is our wrist. Yeah, obviously based off of perspective, we have a little bit of reshaping to do. So in the UV editor, I'm going to scale down so that it scales up in my perspective view. Something like that looks a lot better. Yeah, and just try to match it up again. We have our colors, we have our numbers. Yeah, they're so helpful. Okay, and then this is gonna be our wrist. Okay, just to make it a little bit more um, uh, um, like uniform, we can go into the modify menu, and then we can choose the um, unfold just to see how that would look. Yeah, so modify and unfold. Okay, not too bad. We can try to our optimize. Yeah, we've been kind of messing with that as well. We can unfold this a couple times, and it looks like that may be where it's at. Um, not too much for me personally. I'm kind of okay with this. Again, the risks, you probably aren't going to have too much issues here. But if you need to, yeah, you can kind of jump back and forth with a lot of those tools. Yeah. All right. Next thing we're gonna do is the claw, and then we're gonna have our full map ready for export into Photoshop. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna do a few more setups on here. So I'm gonna select my UV once again. Okay, and then do a select convert selection. Select convert selection to UV shell. Yeah, so make sure I'm selecting all of those. And it looks like it's this piece right over here. Okay, interestingly enough, we still have some stuff back here. I'm gonna then change my selection. Yeah, so select convert selection to faces. Okay, and then this is yet another cylindrical map. So I'm gonna go in here, go to UV and do my cylindrical. Okay, once again, we got a couple things, right? Yeah, close it up towards the back. We're going to rotate it. So it's definitely facing the wrong direction. So I'm going to click on the T on the back side. Okay, rotate it. So I rotate it so it's facing towards the front as best as I can get it. In the side view, I'm going to take a look at it. There shouldn't be a lot that I have to do here. It should match up pretty well. Okay, and then we're gonna take a look at it on here, and yeah, it looks like actually this is a really good spot for the seam. I might just in my perspective view, yeah, I might just kind of turn it very, 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 very slightly. Yeah, so but that's looking pretty good. So yeah, I can pretty much go with that. I'm gonna go into my UV here. Okay, select that and select all of that. Move this out. Yeah, we got a little bit of work to do here. Okay, because there are multiple sections. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to be separating a few pieces out. The main one is going to be on the inside. Yeah, so if you notice, I'm back in my perspective view. I'm going to get the edges that make up the inside of, or so that allow us to separate out the inside. So I'm double clicking right here. Yeah. I'm also going to go into file mode just so I can see it a little bit better. Yeah, but I'm double clicking on that edge right there. Okay, making sure that's not going anywhere I wasn't expecting it to go. And then I'm going to do a cut so and do a cut right over there. Okay, I'm going to repeat this process on the other side because I also want this area. So I'm going to double click right there. Okay, make sure that it's selecting what I intended to select, and that looks right. I'm going to go and cut those as well. Okay, and then what this should allow me to do is if I go into UV mode, I'm going to select AUV on the inside of the claw. I'm actually going to select 2 because there looks like there's another edge over here for me. You may or may not have this, but then I'm going to hold on the shift, get those 2 UVs for the 2 sections. Yeah, I'm then going to go into my selection tool, convert selection, choose 2 UV shell, and then bring these pieces out. Yeah, so it looks like this is my interior. Yeah, so that's my interior over here. um Let me grab this one too. So it looks like this part was not selected when I initially did the map. Yeah, so I'm gonna reset that one up, so we can select all of these faces. I'm gonna have to select convert selection to UV shell. I will do a map, a UV map of a cylindrical, yeah, and drop that off in there. Yeah, so again, UV select all, um, select convert selection to faces. Okay, and then once I have that, I'm gonna do my cylindrical map on here. So UV, do my cylindrical map. I will press 6 so I can see my pattern. This time I'm really paying attention to what's inside only. So I'm gonna close this up all the way. Yeah, so close it towards the back. Yeah, right there. Change the angle. Okay, so I got a couple things that I need to do here. Yeah, so I'm gonna press T to make sure that I have my rotations in place. I'm gonna rotate this so that the back end is towards the bottom. Yes, I'm gonna kind of rotate that. Okay, right about there should be pretty good. I'm also going to check in this view and just rotate it a little bit so that it's more centered here. This one doesn't really matter too much. Okay, and then once I have those pieces, I'm then going to check my perspective view. Looks like I may have to do a little bit of scaling for that as well. Yeah, so I will be doing that next. Okay, but I'm going to drag this piece out. Okay, now I actually do have the inside of the claw. Okay, now this part is going to be a little bit weird because you'll notice that the numbers are actually flipped. Yeah, so the numbers are actually flipped. So we're going to have to actually flip that material. But first of all, I'm going to scale this. Yeah, I'm just trying to get those numbers and squares matching up with the proportion that we expect. Same thing with the outside claw. If you can go into UV mode, select all of that, and then use your scale tool. And once again, we're gonna kind of scale the exterior until we have some solid looking squares. Yeah, so accurate looking squares and numbers. All right, so that's the inside, that's the outside. Different proportions. I'm definitely gonna kind of bring these down a bit as well. Yeah, but we'll make sure they match up a little bit later. Okay, we're kind of almost there. All right. So the next thing that we're gonna have to do is we're actually gonna flip the faces. If you notice, we did a cylindrical map, and we got the map in place and everything, but again, the numbers are in like backwards. Yeah, and so that's our indicator to let us know that our faces are actually facing in the opposite direction. Okay. Now again, this is good practice. Sometimes when you're doing a map, you want to make sure that the faces are not flipped, yeah, which is what's happening here. To make sure that this is not flipped, what we're gonna do is go into our view menu, and then we're gonna choose shaded. Yeah, so view menu and shaded. Okay, as soon as you do that, you're going to notice that our individual maps are going to have different colors. Yeah, so we have blues and we have reds. Yeah, so the blues mean that the faces are facing out in the direction that we're expecting it to. When you have any of these, the numbers will display outwardly. They will be not mirrored. Yeah, now when we have red, what that means is the numbers are actually the faces are flipped, and that means that the numbers are going to display backwards. Yeah, so we're going to have to flip this one over here. Super simple to do. I'm just going to go into UV mode, select these UVs here, and then I'm going to do a modify, and then we're going to choose the flip option. So modify and flip. What that's going to allow us to do then is flip this inside out. So basically, it's like flipping a pancake. Okay, and then when you look at your claw afterwards, you'll notice we went from um, having the numbers being displayed backwards, mirrored, yeah, to displaying the way we expected it to display. Yeah, so quick way to still do a map without having to like contort ourselves too much. Yeah, we use a cylindrical map because it's still kind of cylindrical in there. Last but not least, I'm going to make sure I still have this piece and just clean it up a little bit. So I'm going to go into my modify menu and choose the unfold. Yeah, and we're doing that with the wrist, and so that should make our numbers look pretty clean. All right. Okay. The last setup that we're really going to do before we're out of here is make sure that our edges are not as make sure that our edges are a little bit more are a little bit cleaner. Yeah, so I'm gonna make sure that our claw, yeah, right now you see a lot of distortion on the front of the claw and at the back. Yeah, I'm gonna select the front of the claw, and right over here actually, um, what I'll do is separate out this part. So I'm gonna double click on the edge. Yeah, so I'm getting this section, yeah, going all the way around. Sorry, I'm going to go into 5 mode so it shows a little bit better. There's my red. I'm going to flip this off for a little bit. Yeah, so I'm going to go to my view and switch this back to wireframe. Okay, I'm double clicking on this edge on the outside right over here. That'll be where I do my cut. Yeah, so I'm going to cut that one. I'm also going to do that for the backside later on. Yeah, but for now, I'm going to go into UV, just select a UV on there. Okay, this should be operating on its own, but we're going to find out right now with all of the border edges for that selected. I'm going to then go to select, convert selection to UV shell. We are then going to go select, convert selection to faces. Okay, and oh, I see. Okay, so there's a little bit of an extra part over here. So I'm gonna need those as well. So I'm gonna, again, I'm gonna jump back to UV mode, select the UV on this one, and also select the UV on that one. Okay, so we're getting these two. I'm gonna go into select, convert selection to UV shell. That should get the whole front of the claw. Yeah, yep, that's the whole thing. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to select, convert selection, switch it to faces. Okay, I have that selected nicely. Looking straight at it, I'm then going to go into my um, I'm then going to go into my UV menu and choose, whoa, where is this? Okay, I'm going to go into the UV menu and choose the planar map, yeah, and that'll create a nice little flat map over here. I can use this to make this pattern and kind of slide this one out, yeah, so that'll be, I believe, the front portion, and kind of scale this down a little bit. Okay, and then when we press 6, we'll see our numbers, yeah, so that'll kind of inform us like visually, are we on the right track? And it looks like that is just about correct, yeah. If you can, make sure that you do this for the other side as well. Okay, so again, I'm going to go into 5 mode just so I can kind of see everything. Right click, go into edge. I'm going to double click to make sure I get this ring going all the way around. Everything else looks like it's border edges, yeah. So we just have to do our usual, yeah, cut and sew, then choose cut. I'm then going to go into UV mode. So right click UV and then shift select UVs. Looks like I have 2 sections once again, so I'm selecting both of those. Go to select, convert selection, go to UV shell. Okay, we have all of those. I'm going to be kind of looking straight at this one, and then go to select, convert selection, switch to faces, and then we're going to do another map. Yeah, so once again, UV, planar. This will now work as our back of the claw. I'm going to press 6, yeah, and we can kind of see it right there. And then we can move this one out. Yeah, so that's going to be the back of the claw. I'm just gonna resize it and also reorient it. Yeah, so this should be towards the back of the claw. So it should be around here-ish. Yeah, it should be that. And then, but yeah, that's looking pretty good. Planar maps are kind of straightforward, yeah. And then for both of these, I'm just gonna clean them up a little bit in a bit. And we have 2 more sections to do. Okay, here's number 1 right down here. I'm gonna go into UV mode. This is actually looks pretty good, but I'm gonna select that one. Kind of have a good angle, as best of an angle as I can get. Yeah, so maybe around here-ish. Yeah, should be pretty good. Ah, right about there. Yeah, should be pretty good. Okay, and then gonna go select, convert selection to UV shell. Okay, and then once we have the entire shell selected, then select, convert selection to faces. Another UV, yeah, menu op choice. We're gonna choose planar for that. Okay, so that should be pretty clean. Okay, that is going to be on the, it looks like the, oh yeah, so that's on the right side. Yeah, so I'm gonna go and drop that off. So I can kind of drop that off over here. Okay, and then again, getting that proportion pretty well, pretty good. Okay, so that'll be on the right side. And yeah, okay. Yeah, so we can kind of drop that one off, and then I'm gonna get the other side. That'll be our last map on here. Yeah, so again, UV, select the UV, find your angle. Okay, this looks pretty good. Okay, and then again, just trying to move around a little bit. Right about there should be pretty good. Okay, once again, select, convert selection to UV shell, select, convert selection to faces, then go to UV, do our planar map. Okay, very solid. We can drag that one out, and that'll be our other claw tip. Right, and so I thought that was it, but looks like there's one other piece over here. I'm just gonna go UV and select that, see where that's at. Okay, and this looks like that's the other part of the claw. Yeah, so that's the part that I missed that should be connected to this guy right here. Yeah, so that's why this looks kind of incomplete. Okay, so to make sure that it's all working together, I'm just gonna select all these UVs. Yeah, then go select, convert selection. I want all of the shelf, both of those shells. So 2 UV shell, that should select both. Select, convert selection to faces. So we're gonna do that. Okay, only the outside. UV, yeah, we're choosing our cylindrical. Once again, close this up towards the back. Press the T. Go to your your side view. Okay, we're gonna spin this, yeah, so that it's matching up with the orientation over here. For this one, I think this is where I messed up the last time. Is I'm gonna kind of turn this. Oh no, this actually worked out okay. But I'm gonna make sure that this little area over here, yeah, so the red, we're gonna make sure that that's more centralized. Yeah, so right over here, I'm gonna click on the green circle, kind of turn it a little bit so it's right over there. We don't have to do a lot though for that. Okay, I'm gonna go into UV, select all of this. Looks like I have some scaling to do, so I will scale downwards in, or scale smaller or shorter in my UV editor. Okay, so that it expands in the perspective view. Okay, and there's our claw portion, yeah, and that's gonna go right over here. All right, so that's our map. Everything should look pretty good. Again, we're just looking to make sure that everything is about the correct proportion. I'm seeing a few things that definitely are not. Okay, so it kind of looks like, let's see, just based off of this, looks like this front UV set could stand to be a little bit, oh shucks, my bad. Yeah, it's actually not bad. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, maybe this proportion is good. I'm gonna probably scale this setup. So let's see, we can kind of resize what we need. Yeah, that's looking okay. Maybe about to there. Yeah, so this is like the proportion for the front. So I'm gonna match that up with the back one. Okay, this one's a little bit harder to tell based on the angle. But yeah, we'll bring that to about here. Yeah, so match that up. All right, and then this bottom area, these definitely need to be shrunk down. So we're kind of trying to match it up with that. Okay, so we'll bring that smaller. Okay, and then this one right here, again, same thing. We will also bring that smaller. Okay, if you notice, this is sort of connected to that area, so we can go into edge mode, select that edge. So I know that goes there. Yeah, so I'm going to take this UV, place that over here, and rotate it. Okay, and that'll give us an idea about proportion as well. Yeah, so it looks like I do need to scale that down a bit. Okay, and then, but this does go here. Yeah, so I can kind of drop that off right over there. Same thing with this one. Yeah, I want to make sure that the edge, yeah, so I'm clicking on an edge here. It looks like it's this side. Let's see, oh, right there. Yeah, so that edge is right over here, so I need to rotate it. So I'm gonna go UV, select all the UVs, rotate, yeah, so I can make it more vertical. Okay, I'm gonna move that to over here, kind of scale that down. Okay, and then it looks like most of the proportions otherwise are pretty good. I'm just gonna do one more for the cylindrical, for the wrist, and then probably for the top cap. Yeah, so, and then we're just gonna arrange this and use up as much of the square as we can. So I'm gonna go with this one. Looks like I'm gonna scale that down, and again trying to match that proportion. It's looking about right there. And then same thing with the cap, scaling that one down. So we're gonna scale that one down in the UV editor. Yeah. All right, okay, and so that's basically our claw. Let me check the inside. Inside looks a little bit big, so I'm going to kind of, yeah, looks a little bit big. So I'm gonna scale this smaller here, so we can kind of match that up right about to there. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so there we go. Wow, that is kind of extreme actually. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna kind of bring that a little bit larger. Okay. All right, and so that's about it though. So now we're gonna just place this in our window. Right now we're taking up a lot of space, so I'm gonna kind of scale this down. Okay, and then break this down into the individual parts. Yeah, so looks like we can kind of keep your claw stuff together. I'm gonna put that in this area. Kind of grab the wrist. Yeah, wrist cap is not too important, so I can kind of get away with putting it up here. Okay, we do have our wrist itself, so that is gonna drop off right here, and then we have our interior of the claw, and drop that off over here. So that uses up a pretty good amount of space. I'm then going to get all of these UVs, of course, and drop them off inside of our main square. Okay, and then looks like I'll scale down just a little bit so it's not sticking out too much. Okay, right about there looks good. Okay, and then we're ready to bring this into Photoshop. So I'm going to go into images, do the usual, right? UV stop shot. Let's browse. Okay, this one should now be moving on. So instead of Lego left arm, we want this to be Lego left claw. Okay, claw. Okay, and then we'll save that one. And then all the other settings are good. Do that apply and close. Yeah, and now we're ready for Photoshop. Photoshop setup is going to be exactly the same. Yeah. First, bring in that material. So where is our left claw? There it is. Open that up. Okay. Again, this is our OutUV layer. Okay, lock that up. New layer. That is going to be our background. Okay, I got my G, yeah, paint bucket that, lock that layer up, make a new layer on top of it. This will again be base color. Okay, for the most part, we're gonna kind of stick with that red. So I'm gonna kind of draw out my squares for that. Yeah, so this one right here, I'm actually gonna probably keep the wrist black, so I'm gonna kind of leave those alone. But yeah, I need it for the hands. Yeah, so you can kind of color those. Okay, if you're doing any kind of pattern, of course, feel free to drop those on. Yeah, that's totally fine. But I kind of have my materials on here, and then it looks good to go. Yeah, so we're gonna save a couple things. Yes, I'm gonna press go to File, Save. Yeah, and then save it, keep our layers. Yeah, that's our editable file. If you want to make changes, which I probably will in between, I'm also going to go to File and export this out as usual. So export as. Okay, we're choosing JPEG. Export here. We're going to make sure that we're using the same naming scheme. So this will be left claw. And then I'll save that one. All right, my material, it should be good. I'm gonna jump back into now Maya. Okay, we got our texture in place. I'm going to now right click, go into assign a new material. Oh, sorry, make sure I'm in object mode first, and then assign a new material. We'll be choosing the fungi again. Okay, this will be named left arm material. Yeah. And then for the color field, I'm going to click on the checkerboard box, choose file, click on the file folder. Let's find that Lego left claw, chop that off. Okay, and then I have my color, should be showing up pretty well over there. Okay, I do also want to make sure that I have the rest of my pieces, so I'm going to bring my aligner back, select all of the pieces. Okay, and we will do a quick Shift H to bring everything back. I'm gonna kind of double click on this. Looks like I did not rename the right arm. And then we're going to replace the other claw. So this is gone. Click on it, press delete. Okay, click on the claw. We are going to go edit, duplicate special. Just check the settings again, but our scale is only at -1 in the X direction. When you do your duplicate special, your claw will show up on the other side, and then we can kind of slide this over using our guide. Yeah, so right about to there looks about right. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, and then there's our Deadpool fully textured. Sorry, our Lego character fully textured. I know yours will probably end up looking a little bit different. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. The next video is going to kind of go into a really basic rig. Yeah, so we'll be able to get this character kind of moving around and expressing itself.